You know, for a lot of people in Bloomington, you are Santa Claus.
Yeah, yeah, I suppose so.
Well, how long have you been doing that?
Oh, in the early days of my presidency, perhaps right at the beginning, I don't know, the Union Board had uh, they had an idea that I should play Santa Claus, and they got my suit pattern from my tailor, who was then Treat in Indianapolis, and they uh, took this suit pattern to a tailoring company that made uniforms, and they made a uniform to that pattern, and I gave had that suit made, a Santa Claus suit, and it still fits, but it's owned by the Union Board.
Hmm.
And we had it in the beginning. We had the night before students went home for Christmas. In those days, we had a break at Christmas time, and then came back, had a few weeks of classes, and then finals. Now, when at the end of the semester comes when they go home for Christmas. But at that time, we had a big all-campus gathering in the Union. And this is the old section of the Union in the Alumni Hall, and we had on the night before they went home, the last night, we had a big band, we had a big dance, and then I suppose maybe, I don't know, maybe midnight, maybe earlier, I appeared from from upstairs. The bedrooms were in that old tower at that time, and I appeared in my Santa Claus suit. Went into through the dancers. Gave away candy canes and went up on the stage, and wished everybody a Merry Christmas, and then made a little speech, thanking them for the semester, the happy times we'd had together, wishing them merry, happy time with their families at home during the holidays, and cautioning them to travel carefully, drive carefully, and not have any more accidents than necessary. I always had with that elves, student leaders that were my elves, and they carried the bags of candy canes and so on. And some of those elves now are among the leading citizens of the state. One of the most prominent legislators, for instance, was one of my elves when he was a student. And I had boys and girls both as elves. And they were all dressed in costume too, and we made a kind of a ceremonial entrance, Santa Claus with his elves, and then this went up on the stage, and everybody gathered in front of the stage, and I made this little talk, Christmas talk. Well, they don't do that anymore. Now then, later they came to have me in one of the lounges for an hour or two to greet all the little children. And that was the days we had a lot of children right after the war. And now they have what they call, they have got some kind of a fancy name, or in which I'm present for an hour or so in the newest lounge of the Union, and see anybody that wants to see me, students or little kiddies. And they're in the course of this, there's music, and they're trimming a Christmas tree the trimmings come from the various student organizations. Many student organizations each contribute some kind of an ornament to go on the tree and come and put it on during that period. But through all this period, from the very beginning down to the present, in addition to this Union Board appearance, I have gone to visit with the Daily Student staff at the time they designated late some afternoon when most of them could gather around. And I've through those years, I have brought to the Daily Student some gifts from Santa Claus, bushels of apples, lots of chocolates, and I used to bring cartons of cigarettes and cigars, little cigars for the girls. But that's verboten now. They won't allow me to do that. And I always have a nice little time with them. And this year they gave me a gift. They have a delightful Santa Claus. That you could wind up and it plays a tune, and his head turns, and it has a badge on called Indiana Fanatic, and then also on these occasions I've always typically gone on over to see the police. So they do many things for me during the year, and taking them cigars and candy and apples, and then in my Santa Claus suit. They don't make so much out of the Santa Claus appearance, but they like to have the apples and the cigars, and well, then on various occasions for various other things, I've played Santa Claus through the years. After all, I became president in '37, and and that now is 53 years ago.
Yes.
53 years ago. And that's a long time.
That sure is.
There's been a World War, and a lot of other things happened during that time. And I said to the youngsters the other day that the one constant thing in life is change. That's a sort of a platitude, but nevertheless, when you live through most of a century, you come to realize that it's true.
Yeah.
And you expect things to change. And somebody asked me if I had expected a change in East Europe. Well, I didn't know when, but I knew it would change. Things don't last the same way. There's always a difference.